What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Impel Forward Podcast. I'm your co-host Leon with my co-host Rene,
Whoop whoop.
and we have some special guests today. We have
Yeah.
a few people. Of course, y'all know Jackson, Larry,
What's up?
and we have two other guests.
Yep.
Okay,
My
go ahead.
friends.
Yeah.
My friends. The girls. See, previously it's the guys against Rene.
Oh,
No, we're never against Rene.
It's always the guys against Rene.
We got some
Larry is family. He's pretty much he's an
well, thank
adjacent
you.
podcast.
Thank you.
Now we got
Appreciate
Lang. And we got my friend Aisha.
Lang,
Yeah.
you're on mute. Does Lang know she's on mute? Oh,
Now
there
I
she
do. Thank
There
you.
you
What's
go.
up, man?
Mm-hmm.
Going on. So I guess y'all can see we don't have a special guest that we're actually asking questions to or finding out about their company or anything like that. But we do have some topics to talk about, and there are a number of them. So
Plenty.
we're gonna get plenty, yeah. So we're gonna get started with Renee and Larry. I say within maybe 30 minutes of each other, sent me the same thing about y'all's governor. Is it lieutenant governor, right?
Y'all governor.
Who is y'all?
Who's governor?
He's not my
Lieutenant
boss.
What is he?
Yeah,
Mark
he's lieutenant
Robertson.
governor.
Yeah, Mark Robertson.
Yeah, of North
Oh.
Carolina.
He is an
Yeah,
idiot.
North Carolina.
That is what he
Yeah.
is.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk
Oof.
about it. Who I know Renee, or is it or you, Lane? Who wants to start it off? Don't be
I
shy.
just want to say that I'm going to start my political career, and nothing in my past can hold me back. It's official. Nothing in my past, and I've done quite some things, compares to some of the things that politicians have done and are coming out of the woodworks with.
Mhm.
We need to just burn it all down and start over. And I'm going to run for somebody's office real soon.
Now, when you say burn it all down, start over, what I was talking to somebody in the barbershop yesterday, and I said the same thing. Like, we just need to start over. But
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Oh, I absolutely mean start over. I don't mean fix it. I don't
Mhm.
mean, oh, it's broken. The system is broken. Let's fix it. I mean, it's broken. Dismantle it, get rid of it, start from scratch because this doesn't work. And putting a Band-Aid on it is not going to make it any better.
I said the same thing.
Look
Yeah.
at us.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it works, just not for us. That's what you gotta understand.
Then it doesn't
Yeah.
work. Then it does not
Yeah.
work.
Not for
How is
us.
that working? If no,
Yeah,
for
for
if
some
it doesn't
people.
work for everyone, it doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
period.
I
You're,
would
you're
agree.
right, and it should be that way.
Yeah.
It just
And it can.
Yeah.
that's the issue.
Why not? Why not?
I have to, I didn't really know too much about Mr. Robinson prior to. And I'm gonna be really honest. It wasn't somebody I kind of looked into at all. But recently he's just been popping up everywhere. And
What time of the year? It's
Yes.
an election year.
it's
Yeah.
election year. I just never really, I don't know. I still struggle with digging into a lot of North Carolina politics because, I'm an Oregonian girl through and through, and I lived through that. So ask me
Yeah.
anything about Oregon, I can tell you. North Carolina, a little shaky. I do know about Josh Stein, and I ride for him. Lang will tell you, I ride for him all the way because he was there. Him and his paralegals and people were there for me when I needed them, and I reached out to his office. He helped me out big time.
That's good. That's good.
He assisted me in an attempt to sue the builder of my house.
Oh wow.
So
You have a direct connection with his campaign.
I
with his
just
people.
wrote the attorney general's office.
Yeah.
I did a whole 5-page write-up. I provided exhibits and explanation and, text messages and proof of, conversations I had with my builder regarding my foundation and how many times, they came out and just put a Band-Aid over it, but never really fixed it. So he, him and his office became a go-between, and they actually served the builder, and we went into
Mhm.
mediation, and they were really there for me. They wrote me a letter and told me what they're going to do. The builders got their lawyer involved, and we were able to, they were able to help me with the resolution of getting the foundation in my home fixed. So amongst other issues that I was having with my builder. So, I always will, anybody who helped me in that capacity, because it can cost thousands of dollars. Like, they forced them to hire an engineer and do all of these things, to my house that, of course, I wouldn't want to pay out of my pocket. But, without his office assisting in that, I probably would have been out, or I would have had to pay, upwards of $20,000.
Who is
And I
this
didn't
guy
have to
again?
do any of that.
Who are you talking about?
Josh Stein.
Oh, okay.
His office. So, and I took all of that information that he gave me, and I was able to even help my neighbors that were going through the same problems.
Yeah,
So,
I'm a recipient of that because of her relationship. When the same issue happened in my house, my foundation and my floors got redone as a result of that transaction and connection.
and another one of my neighbors as well. So, for them to step in and be that go-between and kind of, force them to take action and not ignore, my complaints, I'll write for him. So,
Larry,
yeah.
do you know Rene went to school for law?
No, didn't know that. That's what's up.
I know his paralegal was like, I've never received anything like
I
that.
gathered by, just from your energy. I can pretty much, gather.
But
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
But Mark Robinson, now that he's been popping up on my YouTube, because I'm an avid YouTuber, and the man,
Oh, it's your location algorithm. That's what that is.
possibly too, it's just
Yeah.
he's been saying some wild things. So I'm wondering, how did he get into office?
My question is, they said, he's lieutenant governor now, and they're just now finding out about these things. What happens to the investigation? They do look in your background pretty much once you're in.
So I have gone through the process of kind of speaking with a consultant to see what it would take for me to run for any type of office, starting with like your lower level, like city council and stuff. And there is a 1 to 2 year cleanup period of your image. But beyond that, they really don't dig that far back when you're out and you want to start campaigning. Honestly, it's how much you can raise as far as funding for your campaign that determines whether you're going to be out in front of people and become popular and align with, the voters. And I'll be honest with you, I need to go back to civics because I'm not even sure if we vote for the lieutenant governor or if that's like
just elected, right?
I don't know if it's elected or like you just get the position by
or something.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I got to look that up. But I know that to get into politics, the look back period is not that far unless you're like looking at higher tiered positions.
Also, you would think who his political opponent is. You know what I mean? Do they have the resources to be able to dig that far back?
And that's
the race was pretty close because he has a lot of, Christian, I would
his
say.
Audience,
His
right?
audience is a Christian, fan base because I
he's
think
a pretty strong Republican.
He's a strong Republican, and also I think he's a pastor of some sort, some church or something. I don't know, but I think because the race is so tight and they see how close and the potential of him due to his popularity amongst the other Christians, I think this was another ditch effort to say, hey, this man is not who you think he is. And like, boom, here it is now. And
because you got to think around an election year, a lot of officials get put under the microscope.
Yeah.
And they are scrutinized by everything they say, everything they do. Mark Robinson has been in the news for a lot of things, a couple of things in his past. There's things popping up about him and his wife's daycare that they used to operate.
Right.
There were issues about that popping up. The story that broke today was really, really interesting.
Do you think it's going to be enough for people that were championing and rooting for him to kind of take a step back and be like, I don't think so.
The
Or
see,
only thing that's going to eliminate him is the fact that Trump is kind of denouncing him. Otherwise, they would
yes,
still ride
exactly it.
with him to the end,
Yeah.
to the wheels fall off. And this guy, I mean,
said
it's
Right.
obvious.
You said Trump did denounce him?
Well, they said he was going to denounce him, and that secretly he's been trying to get him to step down, or because I think Vance is coming to the area, so they were trying to get him to denounce before
He was out here yesterday.
rally or whatever. So the only way, because again, there is no true Republican Party anymore, so the only way that he'll probably get some kind of repercussions is if Trump denounces him, and then they'll kind of pull away from him.
Yeah.
So it is an elected position.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you have to look at it. North Carolina is really, people think North Carolina is more urban than it is. If you live in this area and Charlotte area, then you forget that North Carolina is primarily very rural. So part of that is why we've been having these battles, is because people think that it's the more progressive cities that have the bigger voices. But if you look at the landscape of it, North Carolina is very rural. And a lot of that deals with, and people have the debate as to whether that equals education and, you know, all of those things. But if you really think about it, North Carolina is not that progressive. There are cities in North Carolina that are progressive, primarily maybe 2 or 3 like urban areas, but the majority of it is very, very rural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. It's an odd state.
For him to quote Clarence Thomas is just insane to me. Like, sir, what?
Yeah, he made a lot of wild statements. A lot of wild. One of the weird things, though, is that his own party is asking him, hey, you know, the story that's about to come out about you for CNN, you might want to go ahead and step down, buddy. And so it has to be something really, really wild if the Republican Party, your own people, tell you that you should probably pull out this race. Because you think about the things that Trump said over the years, and they
only
don't care.
support him. They don't support the rest of those people. So I don't find it that wild, but I do feel like if he says no, then the rest of them will follow suit.
Yeah.
And I disagree.
And he also has to realize he does not have the complexion that is going to allow him to be as
he does not get the free pass. He doesn't get the free pass like everybody else.
For him to own a couple slaves?
Yeah.
There are
he has said a lot of things that has been, for lack of better words, anti-black. You know, coming from him being a black man saying a lot of anti-black things, you can tell he's kind of trying to get his foot in the door of that party, deep into that party. But
there are 2 factions of the Republican Party. You have one faction that is your normal conservative Republican, your traditional Republican, and then you have these extremists who are now going into the fascism and the you know, they want to roll the clock back, and they're influenced by all these isms. Those are the people that still want him up there. Those are the nuts that want him in power, because it's about power at the end of the day. And his thing is he thinks his proximity to whiteness gives him power. And at the end of the day, they're going to snatch it right back. And
I mean, look at Herschel Walker.
Oh my God.
I forgot about Herschel. I
forgot
about Herschel.
He was tiptoeing and tap dancing.
Herschel was saying all kind of wild stuff. Yeah.
So look, overall, I already know how Rene feels about voting. Yeah. Larry, what is your opinion about voting and politics?
Okay. I don't think that voting is bad, especially coming from like the black community. Voting isn't bad. It's the belief in the system that is broken. And we're tired of voting for stuff that works against us or isn't in our favor or is harmful. But if we don't vote, then total power goes to the opposing side. So it's a loophole it's a broken loophole, you know? But for me, I think that I agree with everybody else. Like, get rid of that system, and we need something different than voting, something more, something that's more tangible, something with some substance. We've been doing this for so long now that power has accumulated all into the same people, the same spaces. And there's one thing I say about politicians: it doesn't matter if you're Republican or you're Democrat. All politicians are co-workers. That's one thing a lot of people don't understand. These people see each other all the time, whether they're on Capitol Hill, whether they're just in a regular state courthouse, it doesn't matter. They see each other all the time. They're co-workers. And so when you come down to like the voter level of things, and American politics is so combative, it's like, oh, you got to be 100% Democrat, 100% Republican. It's either or. The voters are arguing over the politicians, and the politicians are just, they go to the same parties, they go to the same grocery stores, they know each other. They're, like I say, they're co-workers. And so they just get out there in front of the camera and they talk about whatever they have to talk about, their talking points. But at the end of the day, they know what's going on behind closed doors. So for me personally, I think the voting system has got to be revamped. It's got to be something more that provides better substance for the common voter.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
What about
Wayne?
I'm ready to jump in. Okay. So I will let you all know that this month I actually redid my registration and updated my status to be unaffiliated. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican because I don't believe in neither side. They are all the same to me right now. Everyone is, in my eyes, corrupt. I think some people start with passion and zeal for wanting to help community, and then they get into a place of power and forget where they came from or what they wanted to do. Or they get so involved in the systems and playing the game that they've stopped listening to the people, right?
Yeah.
I understand, I need a refresher, but I understand civics. When we were little, we had to learn civics in school. And I think that voting is important. And it starts in your local community. It starts with your city council. It starts with the lower levels, because if you only vote in the large elections, you don't feel the trickle down. You'll never feel it. What impacts you is what happens at, City Hall once a month. That impacts you. Listening to what's happening in your own community, speaking to your city council and making sure they have your best interests and needs at heart. I go to Durham City Council meetings often and participate in some of our local organizations that have agendas for what we want for our community. It's important for me to be involved because I see how, I'm not going to mention any names, but people get into positions. And again, they are not doing it for the right reasons or making decisions that benefit the community as a whole. They are doing it based on their personal interest, not the interest of the community. But I definitely believe in voting. I believe that civics needs to be taught again. I want to dismantle so many systems and just start over. Like, I am a burn it down girl. If we could light it on fire, let's do it. I've never thought about the fact that, politicians are coworkers. I watch sessions and watch them, fighting across the aisle all the time, but you're absolutely correct. They are, I don't know if it's the song and dance that they do. Sometimes I feel like nothing ever gets accomplished. And that mostly is because they're listening to each other and not their constituents. Right. So I think that people need to get back to, it should be popular vote. Majority rules, first of all, because most of the country actually has shared values based on a lot of the polls that have been done. But, you would think that it's divisive. It's not divisive. Not all of them are not going to be perfect, but for the most part, we have a lot of common shared values. So I think getting back to listening to the majority of the community is where it's at. And the only way to do that is start with your local politicians.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Daisha?
I'm definitely in support of voting, but I just feel like in the year of our Lord in 20 and 24, the way that we are handling this system is extremely, for lack of a
You
better
can say
word,
trash.
extremely trash.
Garbage. Garbage.
No, but I just feel like we have IT people. We're in the mecca of IT, and we're casting ballots with the bubble system that we use on our CAT
The
system.
Scantrons.
Yeah, we use that when we took the CAT test when I
Yeah.
was in third grade. So I feel like the way that we do it definitely needs updating. I feel like the money pieces, if those were removed, then we would have a much better idea of values and goals. I think when you start putting money and letting people, kind of work around those dollars, just like anything else, it becomes corrupt because you're trying to chase the dollar versus, like Lang said, working directly for the constituents that are in your area and kind of hearing their voices. So if there was a way to reconstruct that process, then I'm always going to vote. Because I know how important it is. I'm always going to support voting, but I definitely feel like we also have gone away from the grassroots of it, and kind of informing people. Everything has changed over the years, and so people still have those same civics lessons that we learned years ago, but nobody's going back to explain what the differences are and how that works today versus how it worked back then. And a lot of the laws, things that were laws, don't apply anymore, and nobody is going back and cleaning up these systems, other than making these amendments and bills that are, thousands and thousands of pages that people are not really reading through, and people are just kind of passing things through. But the grassroots efforts that kind of inform people of the process, I mean, we give a lot of crap to people who don't vote, but a lot of times it's because they don't understand. And when you don't understand, you encompass a lot of apathy because it doesn't directly affect you. So we're not saying the how and the who that we're working with. We're just saying don't not vote. But are we really telling people what that looks like in 2024, the year of our Lord? So that's my thoughts.
Okay. Speaking of, so Elaine brought up that she, redid her registration, and she, instead of being connected to one party, you're, unaffiliated. So recently, moving along to a interview on The Breakfast Club, Jill Stein, right? I think that's her name. She, I think she's green. I think so. It's red, blue, and then
Green.
green, right? And she says how her campaign is run is that they don't receive any funding, any government funding, right? They're not receiving any funds from any other parties. And it's just definitely directly from the people. And I think organizations that believe in their mission or how they feel. So because of this, they're allowed to say, because they're not receiving any government funding, any big brands, to be able to push a specific agenda or tie to a company that will, force them into pushing a specific agenda. It allows them to say what they want or, do kind of what they want, right?
They have more freedom. Yeah.
They have more freedom. But here's my thing, and you guys can feel free to chime in, right? They have more freedom. They're not receiving any government funding. She's added to the list of candidates or want to be added. I don't know, and I'm pretty sure somebody will correct me. She doesn't want to be government, receive funding from government, but she wants to be a part of the government. So does she, I guess, kind of explain that you want to be free from it, but you want to be elected into it, where Congress and the Senate is going to still dictate what you do. So
100%.
you kind of lose that power because you only get a certain amount of vetoes.
Yep.
Now, Larry, did you see that interview?
No, I didn't see that one. The Jill Stein one.
Yeah, on the Breakfast Club. When I was listening to it, I'm kind of. They said they've been around for a long time. That was my first time hearing about them.
Mhm.
Listening to
Is
her
it like a
talk,
nonprofit or something, or is it an actual campaign?
It's a campaign.
It's a
Okay.
party.
It's a
Okay.
party.
There are it's really hard to start another party when the election time comes. So
Mhm.
they are jumping on one that has previously been created.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's an acquisition. That's good.
So how, I guess, I don't know, somebody help me out. If they're not affiliated, they're not receiving any government funding because they don't want to, so they're able
Yeah.
to kind of create their own rules or, speak how they want. How will that work? Say if somebody was, elected, how would
They
that
would,
work?
I don't know, but Larry, do you think it's something similar to what Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about in Powernomics? Y'all know about Dr. Claude Anderson?
that could be a little different because that's starting your own group economics type of thing. Um,
But to him, he was like, we need a black party.
I
right,
agree.
right. But
I
we
see
would
that.
have to govern ourselves though,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's where
I mean,
that's
I
where
know
things
Bernie
get different.
Sanders is independent, right?
Yeah.
And I know that that I don't want to say that's the reason why he wasn't. I mean, there's other reasons that people think I'm a fan of Bernie Sanders. I think he says what he wants and he means what he says if he were there.
Mhm.
But I'm just wondering this Green Party, although, she seems very interesting and I listened to part of her interview. I'm just curious and maybe I have to. I'm hearing an echo. Y'all hear an echo off of me?
A little bit.
Like,
But
good to me.
That's weird.
No, it's gone now.
Okay.
Good.
I'm just trying to figure out how that will work, once you get into office, because you're no longer going to be a Green Party. I mean, you're going to be Green affiliated, but if you're elected as president, you're not Green anymore.
I
But the
ultimately
thing is,
think that. Oh, go ahead.
once you're elected, you now have the control. So anyone that is sitting in the presidential seat or whatever, you can say you're Republican or Democrat, but when a policy comes across your desk, you're not always going to lean that direction. So her
Mhm.
affiliation, once she gets in the seat, doesn't really hold that much weight.
Right.
But I will say that Jill Stein and Bush Ware, which is her VP nominee, their values align a lot with my values. However, strategically, I won't vote for them because there's not enough of us to make them win.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like I have to now think strategy above my values when I go to vote. But when you think about their position on a lot of issues, I align closely with them more than any other candidate.
Yeah. It's actually been that way for a while with all of the independents in the past. Even, there've been a lot of black independents who tried to run and run on like morally structured campaigns. Like they sound amazing, sound good, but they just did not have the backing. And that's a problem, is because the United States is such a capitalistic society that somebody with 45 million can donate that to your campaign and just wipe out the little guy.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I remember I was talking to someone and I was just a friend of mine and I asked, I don't know how we got on to talking about politics and and I brought up Bernie Sanders and I remember her saying, well, I didn't vote for him because he just didn't look tailored enough. So I said, you couldn't look past that and look at what he's talking about and what he's saying.
She popped her
because
balloon.
he wasn't tailored enough. And
did she pop her balloon?
She popped her balloon on Bernie Sanders.
Like people really, and a lot of people really think that way. They did not care what came out of that mouth, man, because he just looked. I mean, he did look a little disheveled, but beyond that, you know what I mean. What he was saying is really coming true. To be honest, that's why he's back. Like he really want to say, "I told y'all."
But that's a part of the game. That's part. That's why so many politicians get attacked on their values, their morals, the way they look. The fact that they go to a specific church, whatever. That's a part of the game. It's a mudslinging contest at some point, and it sucks. American politics is so childish, man. Like honestly, That's another thing that's a turnoff, is because I mean, even with the debate between Kamala and Trump, like nobody even talked about policies. Like it was nothing, that there was no substance in there. It was just back and forth, this, that, and the third.
Yeah, I
And
tried to watch it.
I feel like we've been doing that for like the last, however many years. And the whole, like, again, that system just need to be restructured completely. But what you were saying earlier is like common voters, we look at these politicians and it's like, okay, I don't like the way he dressed, or I do like the way he dressed. I like what he talks about. I like it's people get connected to what they identify with. And I'll be honest with you, that's one thing that made Trump so strong, is the fact that now Trump is a genius when it comes to marketing. Not even gonna lie, is because he is the author that writes himself as every character. Like he's the hero, he's the villain, he's the damsel in distress. And you just identify with whatever character that stands out to you. And so that's why when you look at a lot of Trump supporters, they all see him as the hero. Like they support him 100%. The guy could set a box of kittens on fire and they will still follow him, because however he set it up and talks about what he talks about, people follow that. But he also has the money to back it up too. Not his money personally, but he has big donors. And they put in a lot of money to market that, And so when you're a politician trying to come in and do the right thing, I want to run on community, I want to run on structure, I want to bring back American values. It sounds amazing, it sounds good, but you don't have the money to back it up, and you're getting drowned out. Nobody hears you. Yeah, and that's what a lot of politicians struggle with. And some of them, they do really good. They do really, really good. When Buttigieg was running back in the day, like a lot of people identified with him. Like the guy had some amazing policies, and then they started slinging mud at him because he's gay. Yeah, and a lot of people got turned off by that. So it's American politics, man. It's childish.
Speaking of politics, and these political officials, identifying with certain individuals and people, and why do you think it is so hard for Kamala to connect to the Black man?
Well, let me see. So I'll read it. Wait a minute. I call her Kamala. I know a lot of people get offended if people say her name wrong.
Her name is Kamala. Is it because you're country?
Hey, everybody say things different. I don't care nothing about that.
No, you gotta say
things. What if somebody said your name wrong though?
People call me Leo. People call me Leona. It ain't that serious.
People call me Lauren.
That's your identity. You should say her name. I feel like that is a microaggression.
Yes.
That's just how I pronounce her name.
But that's a microaggression.
But you listen.
Anyway, she says working to earn the Black man's vote. Black men are like any other voting group. You've got to earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote, not assuming I'm going to have it because I'm Black. She says she's Black.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so hard for her to win or get the Black man's vote? Because I've talked to a lot of Black men. I mean, Leon has a Black friend who just refuses on his Facebook, but I have a firm belief he doesn't like women in general.
He's commenting now in the chat.
I'm trying to get him on the show. I was trying to get him on tonight. You know how I do, Larry. But anyway.
Yeah.
So
your friend is in the comments using all caps. He's very invested in the show.
Very invested, but won't come on the show.
I try to get him on. He ain't gonna come on.
It's okay. He doesn't like women.
Yeah. Hey, but look, I have back to that her name thing. I have an older gentleman that I talk to about politics a lot, and he loves Kamala, right? Kamala. He loves her, right? He loves her, right? So he said her name, like he is for her. He is, but he said her name. I said, man, you better say it right. People get offended when you say her name wrong. But for somebody who's for her like him, if he said her name wrong, why would people get offended about that? Now, I've seen people get offended about people who's not for her say her name wrong. But for somebody who's for her, I mean, is it that serious?
I think it's a matter of respect.
It is.
And this goes beyond her running for president. Respectfully, if I care about you and community and I want to show you respect, I'm going to learn how to pronounce your name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because
I don't agree
Lang
with
and
that.
I was just talking about this last weekend. Because, you know, and I don't want to make the pronoun thing, but it's not just the she, her, whatever, but it's the they. And I told her I struggle with calling someone they, right? Even though they asked me to, but it just stems back from my childhood, as my mother would say, you address them by their name. They, calling someone they, you know, is very disrespectful. So it's hard for me when I see that as a pronoun. It's hard for me to even say that, because in my mind, I'm disrespecting the person. So I would rather if I don't know your name, or if I'm not going to remember your name, which is probably 97, 98% of the time, I try to figure out a different way, you know, of still respecting you as a person, whether that's, you know, hey, you know, how's it going? Hey, you know, or something else. But, you know, that I think names are important, and being able to say them correctly is very important. And if not, find it another way to, but still respect them.
And that's what it all boils down to, is just respect. If that person gave you permission and they identified their pronouns, then even though you were brought up that way, that would throw it out the window, because this person gave me permission to address them in this way. And I know that, you know,
I don't see the disrespect, because I'm not disrespecting her purposely. So that's just y'all's opinion. That's all I'm
how
saying.
are you not
It's
doing it
people's
purposely
opinion.
when you've been corrected a bunch of times and you know better?
And you know you're saying it wrong. You
That's
admitted
what I
that you call her by the wrong
That's
name.
just what I call her, though. That's I've always called it like that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm
But
gonna
I
call
hear
you
you.
Tony.
That's cool. I
No.
don't care about that. I don't care about that. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I
But
think
that's you
not
as an individual. Everybody
My-
has individuality, and it
That's
needs
my
to be
point.
addressed
You
as
just said my
she
point.
has said over and over again she prefers to be called Kamala.
I ain't never heard her say that, so
She
Oh
has.
yeah, they
Trying
did
to
at the
clip, I'm gonna send it to
DNC.
you.
I didn't hear her say that.
Yes.
They did a whole thing
I didn't hear her
on
say that.
how to pronounce her name. Her nieces actually did her. Is it her nieces or her great niece?
It's a thing.
Yeah, they did a
Yeah.
whole thing. Had you watched the full DNC?
I'm not watching no whole phone then.
You
You
did.
know,
They
you know
did.
me by now.
Well, then you
someone-
would have learned how to pronounce her name correctly had you watched the whole thing.
You know me by now. I'm
As
not
someone
watching
with a difficult name, if you don't pronounce my name, don't call me. Don't address me. Don't nothing. Lane, get out my face.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I even get mad when you spell my name wrong in an email, because it's like my signature is there. It's 4 letters. 5
It's not that hard.
Rente at the top. But come on. Like,
Yeah.
no. Mm-mm. But back to my question of, you know, why is it so hard for Kamala Harris to win over the black man, even though a lot of the rumors have been rumors about her and being a prosecutor towards
Child,
black
I
men.
have no idea, because it's hard just trying to win over the black man in general. So
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Take it there. Take it there. Take it
That's
there.
another show. That's another show.
Yeah.
so y'all tell me, because I don't know.
Yes. Larry, you what's your thought process?
I don't have an issue with her. I mean, I don't have any gripes or anything. I think a lot of stuff is hearsay. It's a lot of rumors that get pushed around. And to be honest, people are lazy and they don't do the research to actually fact check stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's how a lot of stuff gets passed around. It's high school, you know. I mean, for me, politicians, like, I don't love them, I don't hate them. They're just people to me. You know?
Yeah.
But as far as the black man vote,
Is it because of her past or who she is, or they just really don't want to see a woman in that position?
I don't know. That's hard to say. As like, it's not just one answer that fits all. You know, everybody. To be honest, I think the most people who are not supporting her probably haven't done any research to find out what she stands for. You know, and I think that's really, really what it is.
But is
It's
that
more,
okay? Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, is that enough to vote for the other? Because like if you
I would
really
hope
look
not.
at it, some of her policies, a lot of us, her past, a lot of people have
Mhm.
some raised eyebrows about. But when you look at the alternative, is that enough to suffer through that? To stand on the fact that her past is less than green?
That's a layered question. I think it probably deserves a layered answer too. I would look at it as people are more, well, actually the short answer, people are more focused on the rumors about her instead of actually figuring out what type of politics they have for themselves. And so instead of looking in the mirror and say, hey, what do I identify with in my politics? And what candidate closely mirrors that? I don't think a lot of men dig into that, to be honest. A lot of men don't put in the time to say, okay, let me find a candidate that aligns with what I, find value in. And so it's easy to look at Kamala and be like, oh, well, I heard about this, that, and the third from her past. So I'm going to completely disregard or exclude her. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Even
So
though the alternative candidate has done all the things that he has done, that's still not enough.
That's
the
a
thing
tough one.
is, Trump rode the coattails of the previous administration and got credit for things that he never did.
Right.
And there are a bunch of ignorant people who do not pay attention to politics and
Yes.
want to scream about,
Yes.
yes, he got us this, he got us that. He didn't do any of that,
No.
first of all. So I want to answer this question.
Mhm.
Kamala's policies. She was talking about food prices and wants to cap the inflation that we are seeing when we go to the grocery store. And I know for me, I still look at the price of milk and eggs. I don't make it like that where I can't look at the prices when I go shopping. I can't just throw it in the cart. So I absolutely look at the prices and see how things have gone up over the years.
Yeah.
One of her things is to make sure that she looks at food prices and the inflation on food. Housing. She wants to construct $3 million worth of housing units over 4 years, which will ease the housing crisis in the United States is horrible. Rene can talk about Oregon, and we see it here in Chapel Hill. They just started doing away with encampments, but they had no plan or place to put people. I personally think North Carolina likes to hide their unhoused issue where they don't want anyone to see it, but it absolutely exists because that's the work I do and I see it every single day.
Right.
So putting something in place for affordable housing, and affordable is a relative term because affordable right now with the way that this gentrification is going on, if I sold my house today, I could not afford to live in Durham. So what's affordable? And I'm decent. Like I consider myself very middle class. So if I turn around now and sell my house, I can't afford to live in the community that I love so much. What about the person who is not where I am and they don't even have a house? It's like, so what is affordable? That word, it doesn't really, it's meaningless. It's empty unless you actually do the research. And when I say research, it means talk to the people who are, going through those issues and finding out what the needs are, not some arbitrary number that someone comes up with a plan. I don't know where her number comes from, but 3 million doesn't go far. That's 2 houses in Durham.
Mhm. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. So she talks about taxes and medical costs. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she has started to address what her policies are. But before, she was just running to try and gain momentum. And she didn't really answer any questions about, okay, now that you got our attention, what the hell are you going to do? Because she's not getting my vote because she's Black. I already told you who I would vote for. But again, strategically, it doesn't make sense. So she does need to come up with more and show us details.
So you said earlier that you're not Democrat or Republican.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
So
unaffiliated.
who would you vote for? When people say, when I tell people that, they say, well, if you don't vote for Democrat,
You vote your values. Just what Larry was saying. I actually look at all the candidates and see where they align with my personal values and my personal beliefs belief system, and that's how I'll vote.
Yeah.
Even
But
prior
That's
to
what makes that's
changing-
logical. Yeah.
but
And
what I'm saying,
I don't even necessarily look at all of my values. I look at my friends, right? I look at they have small children that are growing up. I look at, I have friends, I have male friends, I have female friends, I have everyone. How is this going to not only affect me, but my community and then their families too, right? So when I look at immunity for police, I mean, of course, that can, affect me. But I look at Lang. I look at Daisha. Daisha has a son that goes to college in a different city than where she lives. Something can go wrong easily there, and then the police got immunity. They could just, do whatever. I look at Lang. Her son lives in a different state, lives in Florida, even worse, right? And so, and then she has a younger daughter. How is that going to affect her? So my vote, not only I'm looking at, does it align with my values, but I also look at, does it align with my community and how they feel, because they're going to, the grunt of it will rely on them.
You don't want to vote for something that's harmful.
but hold on, Lane, you said so. Who? So you said you won't vote for Miss Harris because
That's
she's
not what I said. That's not what I said.
Miss
you
Harris.
said because she's black. You ain't let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
You won't vote for her because she's black, and you said you're not Democrat or Republican now. So, are you digging her policies or not?
I need more information. So, to be honest, no, I'm not. So
who would you vote for?
I don't like the fact you're not. Let me.
Go
She
ahead,
already said that.
We only have two choices.
I heard what she said, but she
am I
said
going to
what
vote
she said,
for
but she
Kamala?
said nothing.
Kamala is going to get my vote, but if you want the underlying reason why, it's not because of anything she's saying now. It's because I do not want Trump to
The
get
alternative. Yeah.
That's all I was asking.
But both are evil, is what I'm trying to say. I don't align with her. It will not stand up to the war in Gaza. She said she emphatically will not stop sending arms or enforce an embargo to Israel. I don't rock with her. I don't rock with her.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So for me, again, I think about community. I think about people beyond myself. I'm not just thinking about who's in arm's length. I'm thinking about other communities that I'm not a part of. I'm thinking about the impact that the current administration has had on the world right now. And this idea that they are trying to honestly gain power in the Middle East. So I go beyond that. I dig a little deeper.
But my vote is more of within the state. So I'm more, honestly, my impact or my result is within the state I'm in, because when I step outside of my door, that's where it directly impacts me. Now, when I look as a whole, I look at, the community, my friends, their family, their kids, and all of that down the line. But, as we talked of like Mark Robinson, absolutely not. Absolutely.
No.
No, not at all. Speaking of impact and, and people and things and reputations and all of these things and moving away from politics, as, we talked about, let's talk about Mr. Sharp and, the recent events dealing with him and, his impact and, what he has going on. Mr. Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, Club Shay Shay.
Lord.
You jump from politics to Shay Shay.
No, because I mean, it's about reputation, right?
Yeah.
And what people think of you. I think after this latest event, people, I mean, he still is going to have that popularity, but there are some people wondering, how is he able to be this way when other, how is he still being able to keep his show and do all of the things when, other people have been, kicked off or kicked out or, fined or sanctioned for, things similar, but not so much.
I think he found a loophole. And I mean, like, he found a spot to fit right inside the culture that it becomes more, the things that he does, it becomes more acceptable. Now, I stopped watching Club Shay Shay probably like, I don't know, maybe within his first 5 or 10 episodes because it started out classy and then it got weird. Then it got like kind of
Gossipy.
yeah, exactly. It got kind of like an inquiry feel, like, and that's not my style. That turned me off. But the stuff he does now, like the people he bring on, it's all culture based people.
Do
It's
you
all
feel that his actions or his recent live,
his little
you think it
tirade.
was
Hey,
staged?
somebody got a fan on or something? I hear something blowing somewhere.
No, I don't hear nothing. Bro.
That's you, Rene.
No. Is
I hear
it
nothing.
a stay?
Say that
Do you
again.
think it was staged due to some of the rumors people have thrown at
You know,
Mr.
that
Sharp?
did cross my mind. That did cross my mind that it was staged so he could beat those
The
suspect rumors.
Allegations.
Yeah, there were suspect rumors that were going on about him for years. And you never seen him with a female at all. Now all of a sudden there's this thing out there. So
and you know what, you're right. You've never seen her with the female, and I believe what's her name, Delicious from
from
Flavor
Flavor
of
Love,
Love, that was married to one of the exonerated.
yeah. Central Park 5.
She really liked him. Like, she was really like throwing shots at him, and he just ignored her. I think that even heightened the rumors about him, because for a long time she was just confessing her love for him, and you know how she really liked him prior to her getting married to one of the exonerated 5. But he would never just pay attention to her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's valid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she might not be his cup of tea.
That is very true. Everybody has a preference.
Yeah,
but do you think if he went live with that to cover up or to kind of,
I don't know, but it definitely got his numbers up. Whatever it is,
I don't think he did it. I think he got. I think he had a senior moment and got set up by him.
Me and my girls, I don't go live. I don't go live on Instagram. I don't go live on Facebook.
That's what I'm saying. He is even more of a true uncle than we are. So he does not know anything about going live.
So I hear it takes a lot to go live. You got to press.
It does. It's not one button. It's not one button. You gotta like really want to go live to do it.
Put some effort into it.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake either. He didn't just throw the phone down like you said. Either when he threw the phone down, the chick hit them buttons.
The
he didn't know.
Pass hit all the buttons.
Yeah, or he did it. No. So I don't know.
That's like when people say, "Oh, my Cash App got hacked." No, you got a lot of stuff to do to send a Cash App thing. You know what I'm saying?
Scammy stuff if that happens.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they used to not have all of that with Cash App. I think they probably got caught some heat and ended up changing it because Zelle did the same thing. They changed where you have to confirm now. But initially, Cash App, you could just accidentally send money.
Yeah.
But he ain't accidentally going live. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think Mama Michelle set him up.
Right.
Not Mama Michelle.
Set Mama Michelle up. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he said, or either or. It was a setup from some perspective.
I think that he still has a lot.
The same day. No, absolutely not.
I hope he lied though. Why would he lie and then admit it later?
I hope she just
he said his team did that. He said he didn't tell them to do it. His team
did say that his team did that.
Whatever.
Yeah, he said his team did that.
When you are in charge,
he said he didn't tell them to do that. They just jumped on it real quick. You know how you had your publicist or whatever make up something for you.
You are the ultimate decision maker as the head of your team, and it falls on you regardless of whether you said okay or let me look at the proof. He did it.
Yeah. I would agree with that. That whole thing was insane. I couldn't listen to the whole thing because
I hope you didn't.
His voice. When I listened to the little, because I wanted to know why was people in a frenzy. It was like Club Shay Shay and this went live. I didn't know, so when I heard, I said, the only thing I can think about is Shay by Leportier, and I can't stand it. I can't stand Shay by Leportier.
Yeah, I can't even on my last few reps in the gym. I can't even grunt because I think about that.
Oh my gosh! Whoa,
sir, have a seat.
Yeah. I'll be on my last hit. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm like, oh no.
That hand us
I
with
just
this.
hold it
That
in.
hand us with this. We're not doing this.
Oh, like,
Oh my God.
let's not.
I think he's gonna be fine though. He's gonna be all right. Like I said, he found a nice loophole in the culture where a lot of stuff he's doing now, him being called Unc gives him a pass for a lot of things that
Yeah.
doesn't work for other people.
Yeah.
Stuff
It's
like
the same
this.
thing
Like
with
3
Snoop.
days.
Snoop is the big He do
Yeah,
a
there you
lot
go.
of stuff
Yeah.
that nobody else would have been able to be on TV with Martha Stewart
Right.
doing the things that they were doing,
Yeah.
and went to the Olympics not too long after it. So I mean,
Yeah, he damn sure did carry that torch.
Pass in some aspects.
Yeah. So you think everybody gave him a pass because he's Unc?
Yeah. Well,
Do you
it
think
wasn't
this
not
helped
only
with the
just
rumors?
that. It didn't happen overnight because a lot of sentiment for Shannon Sharp building up for years, ever since he left
Skip.
was it First Take? Yeah, ever since he left, not First
Not
Take, ever
First
since he
Take,
left
though.
with Left Skip,
Yeah.
because a lot of people felt like he was done wrong in that out of that situation.
Okay.
But to see him come out of that situation and bounce back with his show, he had Cat Williams on there that blew up, and it was a lot of stuff, a lot of steam and momentum was building up for him. And so something like this now, it's like, oh well, he's an adult, he's human, stuff
Yeah,
happens.
Stephen
And
A
it's
had
like,
his
it
back,
just-
right?
Listen, if that man come out with a toy,
Stop,
This thing-
ma'am. Okay, we done. We done.
Look, Stephen A had his back, right? So if
Yeah,
it was somebody else, Stephen A would have let
wouldn't
him
have.
have it. But
Yeah.
being that Shannon Sharp is on his show, he
Yeah.
had his back, So,
But
but look,
Shannon
check this
is-
out.
he's an
social
expensive
media is
player.
a beast. Social media is a beast, and I feel like every day, every week is something that on social media that is just driving people. Some people say it takes us away from all of the political mess that's going on, which in some cases, yes, we need that, right? Especially, with so many, rumors and things flying in the air.
Hold on.
We need it.
Look, I want to go back to the political part you just said.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's Boyce Watkins. I think he posted this right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is Obama in 2006. Those who enter our country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of the law. And because we live in an age where terrorists are challenging our borders, we simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, and unchecked.
Mm-hmm.
Americans are right to demand better border security and better enforcement of the immigration laws. This is in 2006. Now, it has a picture of Trump saying, I approve this message. What is y'all take on that? I guess he's saying the same thing Trump is saying now.
Well, Trump has been saying that about the border, right? And wasn't somebody supposed to make a wall and pay for the wall? What happened to the wall?
That's what I'm saying. I guess people had different opinions on Trump saying that, but
it's the same message from both of them, but the execution was completely different. Completely different.
Yes. The
like
execution
Trump's execution was, we can't let these murderers and rapists in here. Like, it was out of fear. It was fear mongering.
Yeah.
100%. That's a huge difference. Of course, you don't want just strangers coming in your borders. You wouldn't want a stranger just to walk in your house and set
now
up
you
shop.
say it's fear mongering, but right here, Obama said, "But terrorists are challenging our borders."
Those were real terrorists, though. We're talking about real terrorists that was overseas.
We're not talking about
ones that are
people
eating cats and
asylum.
dogs. These are very different.
Oh my God, that
Is it different?
Yeah, I think it's
very different. Nobody wants the borders completely open. It's about the implementation of securing the borders that people take issue with. Well, I take issue with. I won't speak for others, but it is the implementation and how that is handled, and the way in which the racial undertones of that is the difference for me.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. I I don't know. I'm just wondering, all the things that he's asking and saying wasn't done, he didn't do either.
Also true.
Well, I don't think I didn't think it was gonna build no wall anyway.
Well, Mexico was supposed to pay for the wall.
So
Also true.
they never agreed to that. First of all,
He
he said
never would. Yeah.
he never.
Yeah.
Nah. So I take this particular subject matter to heart because I come from a family of immigrants who came to this country, some legally, some I ain't even gonna lie, illegally. I know, some family members that are here and they can't leave or go home because if they do, they can't come back, right? America poses this country as like the dream. Big house, white picket fence, all that stuff to other people in other countries. America invades every other fucking country. We have a military base all over the world. And they want to talk about people coming here. People come here for opportunity. People come here for a better life. That is what you send the message out to when you invade other people's countries, that you are the end all and be all. And then you want to get mad when people try to come here for that better living. And then when they come here, including, and also it is a racial issue because a lot of people coming here, they don't never talk about white immigrants. What about that? Everyone coming into this country is not Black and people of color.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So
I have friends. Yeah.
that whole system can go to hell. It should it be structured? Absolutely. You have merit-based, you have work visas, you have visas for people that have been harmed in this country to stay in this country. But when you think about the rules at the border that they have, they're saying it's illegal, but no, they actually have written laws for people seeking asylum, and they're trying to make it like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, I posted something today about the border. Border Control, Homeland Security, and the people that work there have been trafficking people. They are displacing people. They do not take proper care of them. There's a lot that goes on there, and the people doing the harm are people from this country.
Yeah.
So they can miss me with all that.
It is.
Burn it down. I'll say it again. Burn it all down.
But it's definitely the same message, but structured differently with more racial undertones. I would definitely agree with that.
Obama was horrible when it came to that. He immigrated and deported thousands and thousands of people. He was horrible. And people, again, we praise his legacy because he was the first Black president. He was horrible when it came to immigration.
Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. So now y'all confusing me. When I first read that, y'all said it was two different things. So,
I didn't say anything about
no.
I started talking about immigration.
No, we said
the implementation.
Huh?
Yeah, we said the message was the same, but the implement it's different.
Okay, you did say the message was the same. Was the same. You did say that. So y'all agree on both of them as far as
I already told you, Republicans and Democrats are all the same.
Yeah, we just said the message was what they were saying,
but you be confusing me.
How do I confuse you? I think I'm speaking very clear. They're all
independent. You believe in both. You're not one-sided. You believe you have a little bit of both sides, and then you have your own values as well. So
no, she is speaking clear. I understand everything she's saying, but
when you're independent,
you know what it is? I don't believe that I have to be participatory in a system the way it exists. I believe that it can change and it can be done differently and it can be better. So when I think about dismantling it, I'm thinking about the world I want to live in. I'm not thinking about the way it exists today. So I don't the systems that we have now, I don't like them. I don't co-sign it. I don't endorse it. And maybe that's confusing, but I can vision beyond what we're currently working with. And I wish that more people would be open to the possibility of thinking about community in a broader sense and what we could accomplish instead of working with the things that we've been piecemealed or putting Band-Aids on for the longest time, because they're all broken.
Yeah.
Definitely broken.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, but when you
caps,
huh?
Why is your friend writing in caps? I don't believe nobody writing in caps.
Those are old messages. But when you said that both sides were evil,
Capitalism. At the end of the day, both sides do what benefits
Yeah.
their
but
pocket.
Their
And
agenda.
what I'm saying, if you feel that strongly about both sides that they're both evil, how could you vote for either one of them? That's what I'm saying.
How could she not
it's
vote?
better than not voting. There's getting, how should I say this?
That's where she makes a strategy call.
Getting in place, getting the right people in place will take time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So I do have to think strategically when I vote. And I have to think again, which I think is bullshit, but okay, the lesser of two evils. They're both evil. They're both evil. But in order for me to get to where I want to be and have things align, most of my values are either progressive or radical. Those people are not in power right now. But what's going to get them there? So Kamala's a little more progressive than the latter. Okay, who's going to come up next? They're not automatically going to put the people that I think should be in power there because they're too radical. So it takes time. And I can play the long game.
So if she, so her policies, whatever policy she has, or people want to see, or she says she wants to see get passed, if they're not passed, then what?
What do you mean?
Well, if her
I mean,
policy, if
the
she
policy
gets
that
elected,
if she gets elected and she wants her policies are not passed, that she wants to get
actually,
passed.
So
this happens a
here's-
lot.
They have to go through a certain. Who they
That
have to go
happens a
through?
lot. I mean,
Yeah.
that can be on the other person as well. I mean, it's up to Senate.
I know that. I know that.
But here's the thing. It's not even about Kamala at this point because there are, I think there are over 36 seats in the Senate that are up in this election. That's what counts. You got to look at your House and you got to look at your
That's what
Senate.
we want.
That's where things get passed. Kamala isn't the person.
She signs off on it.
That's
She
the
signs off
question.
on it.
So we need to look at those races and see who's in those seats and make sure the right people get in those seats because those are the people that are going to be doing the legislation.
And see, this right here is another part where I was talking about earlier, where I said a lot of people, they look at the perception of what it is, but not what it really is. Meaning that, like, if you believe in the rumors of something, but you didn't do the research to figure it out. And so what you're saying as far as paying attention to the Senate and the House, like back when Obama was president, a lot of people were like, well, Obama didn't do this, Obama didn't do that. But they never looked into the fact that Mitch McConnell made it his job to block a lot of things that Mitch McConnell, that Obama tried to bring to the table.
Yes.
You know? And so when you look at it, you're only looking at, oh, well, Obama didn't do anything. But it was like he had a lot of opposition that was in the way, you know? He couldn't do everything.
The Republicans ruled the House.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
exactly.
They still, well, kind of. But yeah. Still
but it's just, there's layers to politics. And the common voter does not dive into those layers. They don't. And it's so weird because American politics is so combative, but nobody dives into what's really going on. You got to stop reading, Instagram for your news all the time,
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think Leon has these discussions because it helps him better, I guess, understand politics and where he stands. But he'll never, he'll never really admit what his side or who he's voting for or anything. He asks the questions.
Oh yeah, and people know that I talked to. I didn't vote until Obama because I never was into politics.
Wow.
For one.
But there's also another reason too.
For one, when I came home from prison, they told me I couldn't vote. So when I used to be being into politics.
And that's another thing that needs to change.
But then once I learned that I could vote, the only reason I voted because he was black.
So now is his time to really dig into politics now, and I think this is him finding his way of
this. This is the most I ever talked about politics, but I still don't understand a lot of what y'all say because I'm gonna tell y'all the truth.
It's all right, bro.
I need to fact check myself. 33 seats are up for re-election in the 2024 election.
That's a lot.
33 Senate seats are
Please
up for
get rid of
re-election.
Marjorie, Georgia. Do us a favor and get rid of Marjorie, please.
Please.
Mhm.
So
rid of
that's
who?
me fact checking myself. And shoot, I was just gonna say something to you, Leon. Oh yeah. So that's a whole other thing about voting rights, because when they count the populace for the electoral vote, they count
Yeah,
prisoners.
they count
Mhm.
those. They're
do.
included in that.
So you can't vote, but yet you're included in the vote. Do you
Right.
see what I'm
But
saying?
that's
so
something
all
they don't tell you
needs to
I
unless
never
you.
heard about that either. I never heard of
Yeah,
that.
Well, I think this is Leon's season for him to, learn more, and I'm happy for my brother.
we gonna get you right. We gonna
Hey,
get you right.
come on, hey, you sound like me. Like, ain't really. I mean, look, you sound like me. But
I think Trump
I
started a
you
lot of
still
that.
want
And I'm
Go ahead.
proud of him for digging into that. I don't know if you guys watched the previous podcast, but we had a judge on here, and he,
Oh,
not
yeah.
only talked about, we talked on politics a little bit and the importance of voting and the importance of jury duty and how he teaches in his courtroom. Y'all know how I feel about jury duty. We ain't going there because we'll lose friendships. And
Don't be losing more friends over jury duty. You gotta
Let
stop
me
that.
tell you
God.
something.
It's
You gotta
civic
stop
duty.
let you know how I feel.
Go
I'm
down.
not a model citizen. I've never been picked for jury duty. I've never even gotten a notice. They know already. I'm gonna be like, nope, sorry. Nope.
You gotta do it.
No,
I got one earlier this year. Yeah,
never. I've
Y'all
never.
I ain't know
One
though.
person who don't want to do it
I
is
believe they
crazy.
look at your voting record and they look at your demographics, and then people were like, absolutely not her.
I think it is everybody's civic duty to do jury duty
Yeah,
once
because how
they are
is it a
kids.
jury of our peers
is
if our
crazy.
peers aren't going?
That is insane. What if your son was on trial? You would want somebody like you on the jury.
I
Absolutely.
would.
So why would you not go to jury duty if you were
No,
selected?
I've never been given a summons. You're not listening. to
yeah,
me.
you said. I think you said you
But
would
you
not
said you
go.
would not
Though.
go to jury
No,
duty.
no, that's not it. If I got on there,
You be confusing me. I know I
Yeah,
ain't crazy.
you said you wouldn't do it.
I've never received a summons, but you know how when you go to jury duty and they're like, ma'am, are you biased to da 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 da?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm be like,
It's okay for you to be honest, but I'm just saying for you to not go. I think
no, that's not what I said.
Your mouth was you wouldn't do it.
Let me clear up what I'm saying. I've never been sent a notice because I believe that they actually look at your voting record and they look at your demographics to know if they even want to send that to you. And I have never ever received one in my entire life.
But I've never been picked. And
you are a wonderful
called that number.
Yeah. I got one like in April, I believe. Probably.
And you ain't go.
I called a number. They said they didn't need me.
Yeah. At least Larry knows the importance of jury duty.
I was trying to get out of work, but couldn't go.
Whatever. On a lighter note, I know we're moving on to the hour, but
Yeah.
I have a few fun topics that we can talk about.
Hold on. Well, before you get to the fun topic, let's talk about Elon Musk. Y'all know about Elon Musk and these satellites in space?
Yeah, he's
been
something about him blocking out.
But he said he got like 6,000 or something in space.
I didn't
6,000 satellites.
This is crazy.
They just allow that man to do
all
whatever.
I know is my uncle works for NASA and he said do not get on the shuttle, so I'm not doing it.
Oh Lord.
Can we get my uncle on the show?
He's not gonna do that.
Yeah. Let's don't do that, man. You know how Boeing is.
Phone conversations that we have amongst us. He is not going to share those opinions on
that. Hey, look, it says SpaceX has.
We'll wait and see if he retires this year. If he retires this year, he might feel talkative.
Listen to this. It says SpaceX now has a constellation of more than 6,000 satellites in orbit, providing high-speed internet to almost anywhere on Earth.
Well, that's how he was able to when they knocked Wi-Fi out in Gaza, he was able to get it up and running.
He's a government official. Like he's
a man with money.
He's a man with money, and he's also a government official. Somebody made a comment about him because the comment he made about Kamala, and they were saying something to the fact, and may be misquoting, but he works for the government, so he should be held to the same standard. When making comments, he should be removed. But because he's a billionaire, whatever, he is allowed to do whatever he wants.
Well, he
But
is.
listen, and it says Elon Musk Neuralink blind sight device approved by FDA to restore vision for the blind. Not reason I keep bringing all this up, because he got that chip thing, the implant that can go in people's heads too.
Neuralink.
That's where I said he works for the government.
Yeah, man, he's doing a lot of stuff. He has a big influence. It just don't sound right to me.
It is not right.
Yeah.
It is not.
Mm-mm.
I look at two people. People look at Elon two different ways. You either love him or you hate him.
I can't separate it. Like I see a black person with a Tesla and I just want to throw up.
I just want to throw
My homeboy got a Tesla and I don't know why.
I just want to throw up.
I asked the doctor.
When I read that thread about the employees that worked at Tesla and how they were treated, there's absolutely no way I could get one.
Yeah, I heard it be going around calling them the N word.
Oh yeah, he's been
multiple times and has not even cleaned up their act there. They still operate the same way. The culture is still the same.
Yeah. You saw what he did to everybody in Dallas, hired all those people, got them to pay for them to relocate there, or got them to relocate to his big facility in Dallas, the Cybertruck facility or whatever. They worked there during COVID, and then he just let them go. No explanation. Let him go.
But the work he's doing as far as the blind people can see and the things.
Does that outweigh
him? Does he feel like he's doing that work?
He's over it. It sounds good.
Yeah.
But to me, it sounds a little.
I don't know. I can't.
I don't know. I feel like if
it sounds like he's trying to help people.
Ulterior motive that we don't know yet. Because
that's what I'm saying.
I don't feel like there's a place in his heart and he's doing it for goodwill. If there is something that he's doing to assist, then there is some kind of back end thing that we don't know about yet.
It's always some capitalistic agenda to it. It's not, absolutely not for the greater good.
I don't feel like it's a
little too good to be true.
I won't deny that the man is smart. Yes. He has a lot of ideas, but the power that he wields. So there's a difference between someone holding power and hoarding power. And he is a hoarder of power, and he does not use it for good.
No.
He's been going unchecked for a long time.
A long time.
And the comment,
and I don't even know that he is that smart, because oftentimes people in those positions are not speaking of the ideas that they themselves create, but they are surrounded by people who
but they can fund it. But he can fund it.
That.
Yeah.
But
they
know he can fund it. Yeah, absolutely.
He's a project manager. He is a project manager. But he is not only is he the project manager, he's the stakeholder. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's for him, his benefit, but he knows who to hire and to put people in place to make the project. His vision come to life. So he's a stakeholder and a project manager.
You can't say he's not smart. He is smart.
He's strategic.
But so that comment he put out about Harrison on Biden, he was like, so nobody's trying.
That's why he should be removed from his governmental affiliation.
So somebody put up a thing and said every black person need to get rid of their Tesla and this and that. So I asked this doctor, he has a Tesla. I said, you gonna get rid of your Tesla? He said, you talking about Elon?
Got my money.
he said he called him a moron. He said, man, he said, nah. He said, oh, Elon's a moron. He said, well, I guess I can't say that. He's kind of smart. He said, but you can't do nothing with him. He's the richest man in the world.
Yeah. Going unchecked.
I won't govern other people's money, but I will govern my own. And I will not be purchasing.
Yeah.
Every time I see a Tesla,
other vehicles, e-vehicles, I'm interested to see what the others would. Well, they don't really have this whole e-vehicle situation fleshed out well enough for me yet. So I would be a hybrid girl if I ever took that.
You know where they do have it fleshed out in China, and he has competition. He brought his factories over there. They pushed back and gave him competition, and now he might bring them I think he's either going to take them to Mexico or like Texas or something. But yeah, he went somewhere because of the what do you call it? The trade credits, like he got tax credits for moving to the country and stuff. And yeah, he got pushback because they're about their e-business.
Yeah.
It gave him some competition. So
yeah.
Which is good.
I mean, again, competition is good. I won't police other people's dollars, but some hills I'm willing to die on. That's just one of them.
His influence is far-reaching, man. Far-reaching. Especially
when people are intrigued by him because he has money and
right.
I can do whatever I want. You know,
Rockstar.
People are intrigued by people with money because they see themselves through them. They aspire to be him one day. You know what I mean? Not knowing that if you even got close, he's gonna try to find a way to knock you off because he wants to always be on top, no matter what.
Yeah, he's gaining power. That's why he bought X, bought Twitter. Now he can kind of control the narrative.
And now he's mad at Mark Cuban, who's like, "I'm trying to buy it. What's up?"
Yeah,
he's ignoring him. He would have said something real foul about that man a long time ago on X. If,
who's smart and has money? Mark Cuban. Have you seen his prescription drug company?
Yeah.
That's someone who's doing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird that Elon hasn't said anything, and Mark Cuban keeps coming on like, "I'm trying to buy it. What's up? I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get what else is he trying to get? He wants to buy X and something else. He made it. He announced it. He's been announcing it for the last week or so.
Okay, that's something new to me.
Yeah. You got any more political questions?
No, go ahead. They might come to me. Go ahead with your.
So I want to bring this on a lighter note. Two things. Well, I read an article. We've been in a very tough job market, right? I don't know if you guys are on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn all throughout the day, looking for jobs for some of my friends, or just wanting to check the climate. Yeah. And it's been rough out there for people. So I came across this article on IG that said from Pizza Hut that says they want to help people with jobs. So, and this is only in New York, but they're testing it out to see and branching it out. They are you can have them put your resume on a box of pizza and deliver it to a company that you have applied for or would like to work for.
That's dangerous.
They will find a way to get it into the person.
They're trying to get you a hookup.
That's
what that is.
I
trying to get you in the door.
I think that's genius.
I don't know about that.
If you like pizza.
Oh man, if you don't take your ass over there and put your own resume in there,
right? They don't want to pay their employees, but they'll get you a slice of pizza.
That's a weird.
You know what? I have a weird thing about pizza. I always say that, and it's for that very reason. Because pizza is cheap, and I feel like every time people give me pizza, they're trying to cheapskate me. So therefore, I boycott eating pizza.
Hey.
I love it.
Little known by
I know. I feel you though. My company, they don't do pizza parties. Maybe because it's remote, but I don't buy my employees pizza. Listen,
do not buy them people pizza. Get them people a sub.
No,
you even buy your own pizza.
I take that back. I'm gonna fact check myself just in case one of them just happened to find me.
I have purchased don't get them people pizza.
I have purchased them pizza, but it was because they wanted it. It was because they wanted it for lunch. I offered to buy them lunch, and they said they wanted their own pizza. So listen, have at it. Here's the card. But not because, I bought their own pizza, but it wasn't in lieu of a performance increase, right? It was
right.
I'm visiting y'all. What y'all want for lunch? They said pizza, but I thought that was great marketing. And what I'm hoping from this is that more companies will kind of jump on that bandwagon. What if you order takeout or Chinese food and they kind of roll your resume up, put a little bow on it? They deliver it, or you have somebody deliver it to the CEO or somebody, the CEO's assistant. I think, we have to be creative, right?
I want to see what the results are. I would be interested to see the data on the delivery and how many of those people who actually received the pizza actually received a position.
I think now, since I saw it on IG, I think now maybe some employers and recruiters are probably looking for that now. Like I said, it's only in New York and it's only Pizza Hut. But when it becomes popular, many other people are
the job that I'm going for, they're not eating down there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's
I'm
just
just
to sell
saying,
more pizzas.
but it's the only company that has stepped up because they know the job market is rough.
It's
I feel like
creative. I would love
Yeah,
to
that's
know
what I'm
about
saying.
it.
I would be interested to see the data on it, like to see
Yeah.
how it unfolds.
You know, people
And
jump on trains real quick. Most companies, as soon as something
you're gonna have to compare data. How much pizza sold by how many people got hired from from that project. Guaranteed the pieces that sold is gonna be like 1,000%. And then people getting hired.
They're not selling the pizza, are they? They're just delivering it. Are they actually charging the people?
So I don't know if they're charging the people or what. Like I said, I didn't dig into it. I just was looking at the marketing behind it, and I thought that was genius because our job market is so competitive, right? You got to think about it. You looking for a remote position, you're competing worldwide and overseas. It's no longer, it's a bigger group of people. So now, if you're competing with people if you apply for a job within your state, the group is smaller, but everybody wants these remote jobs. So now I have to be creative. It's no more networking, right? Indeed, everybody got Indeed sold up. They're just like, I'm remote. I'm looking for a remote position. Listen,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like because if you're gonna do that, then there are Pizza Huts everywhere. So that doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't cut down on the applicants. Because if it becomes a global thing, then you can send the pizza. You can call.
I feel like other companies are going to try to jump on board to figure out another way.
I know if I work that Pizza Hut, I'm gonna be pissed. If I got
to
deliver
delivering all these
and your resume,
because
it's gonna be on the box.
The one that's Domino's that they do the tips and all.
I'm not about to run this. I'm not about to run your resume.
Listen, y'all know I'm for the people. I love networking. It's in my heart.
They need to go network.
I would do it. I will 100%. Tatiana said nobody hiring is gonna look at that. That may be true, but what's the risk behind it?
As someone in a hiring position, I'm just going to say that I'm lactose intolerant, and I would never see that.
But you might see it if some breadsticks.
Nope.
You might order some garlic rolls or some garlic breadsticks, and
they
you might
have to test this out in some other avenues besides pizza.
They were the first company to step up.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying I want to see the data. I want to see it unfold. It's an interesting concept. I would like to see it fleshed out, and then I would also like to see the data on it.
I would like to see it too.
Genius as far as creativity, but sometimes
I think if a coffee shop got on board with that, a popular coffee shop, a mom and pop, maybe a Joe and the Juice, Smoothie King, or something else.
What would they do?
What do you mean?
They're not going to deliver the resumes.
Why? They can attach it to the drink.
I think it's giving creative with a side of techie.
Listen, we're employed right now, so we don't know what we would do in an instance when we're trying to feed our family. So I get
it. Like I said, I get the ingenuity of it. I feel like it needs some fleshing out. Like I feel like we need to.
Yeah.
You can order. So you telling me you can order a pizza from your phone, but you can't submit your resume from that same phone?
I think the thing is that they're getting it in the hands of the person. Yeah, I think the thing is that they're getting it in the hands of the person.
Yeah,
ain't nobody accepting that.
The issue is the logistics.
You never know. I'm gonna do some research, and I'm gonna do some recon.
Now, it is gonna be like some wild, like some
I think it's creative
hiring managers that'll be like, oh, this is different. Let me take a look at this. I got it. I get it.
I get it. It has a shock factor to it. I don't know
until you start getting 400 resumes.
Meat and potatoes of the longevity of it would be.
You're getting 400 resumes no matter what, but I don't think anybody's going to order that many pizzas. But I think it's just it's something creative because this job market is rough, especially if you're looking for a remote job. You're competing against the masses. I can say for me, my job, they reached out to me, but when I applied, because you can see how many people apply for the position, especially on LinkedIn. Yeah. It was 900 applicants for the job that I applied for. The only reason why I had it in, I got it because I had it in, right? Yeah. So somebody vouched for me, and then plus, you know, there was some messaging. But what if I was a part of that 900?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I know you got to stand out.
But you ordered a pizza that day because you was hungry and you know all you had. And here's my resume.
We can go back to the chat. I think this last comment is accurate. They may have more favorable results advertising at a bar that high-level executives frequent.
That is very true.
That makes more sense.
I think
yes. If you give me your resume at the bar, I will pass it to the person who needs to go to.
Listen, I agree with all of those things, but if I'm doing everything possible if I'm trying to feed my family. So if that's sending a
no, you're not. No, you're not. Don't say that.
You got to deliver that pizza too.
I'm gonna deliver the pizza. I'm gonna go to the executive bar. I'm gonna go to Top Golf. I might put it on a golf club. I might attach it with a bow to make you want to look at it. Don't listen. I understand. I understand these people, but I thought something light and something creative. As you can see, our world is evolving, right?
Yeah,
people are figuring out creative ways to get attention, to get to be heard, right, and to be seen. And I think we're in a world where we have to do that now that we're competing with, you know, so many people, especially unemployment. The levels are really high.
How you keep getting all these favors? You got the politician on your side helping you get people a house, floors in the house.
What are you talking about?
Then you got people helping you get jobs. What you got going on?
You better
listen right there.
That is the unfair favor of our Father.
That too. But you know what it is? You know what it is that I'm a networker, right? And I help people and I root for my friends and I root for people. So, you know, I always get it back, you know, tenfold.
You do.
Okay.
I'm going to end this on a lighter note. The 8-year-old who drove to Target.
Oh, wow. That was crazy.
I don't know about this story.
Hey, she did a good job. Well, she didn't do a good job, but she did a good job.
I mean, she was swerving on you see the video with her swerving on the street. She did a good job.
Yeah, she got
Who
this.
taught her how to drive?
What? Hold on. Start from the beginning. What happened now?
8-year-old girl. I can't remember where was she at? What state was she in?
I can't remember.
I can't remember the state.
To Target.
Took her mom's SUV.
Oh, the SUV.
And drove 11 miles to Target.
Dang.
Drove 11. So there was some video of her swerving. So it was people who saw her driving on the street.
Yeah.
And they reported a driver driving erratic.
Yeah, I bet she was.
And they pulled up and they were like, you could hear them talking to the police. They played the police call and they were like, I think it's a kid. I think it's a kid. Yeah, and they couldn't catch up. But the little girl only hit a mailbox. That's it. And got to Target. Right? She got to Target, parked, got in. She had $400. I don't know if she got it from her mom or who. She had $400 in cash.
What?
Baby girl went to Starbucks and ordered her a Frappuccino and proceeded to shop around Target until the police caught her.
And look, they say that please let her finish her
Frappuccino.
Stop playing.
Let her finish her prep, and then Target also refunded the $400 gave the, you know, I don't know if she had to return or she didn't get to the checkout yet. But anyway, she checked out. She has some stuff. I don't know where she was going next, but apparently she didn't spend the full $400. So Target returned the items and she got the cash back. And when the police got there, they let her finish her Frappuccino, and the parents came and picked the car up and got her money.
Somebody would have
admitted to the police that she hit a mailbox. That was it.
Somebody would have got escorted up out that piece. What?
Now, they haven't shown what this little girl looks like.
Yeah, she's a minor.
She's definitely a minor. But with all of the things, right? We've seen young kids steal cars because she stole the car. Let's be honest. Right? And she could put a lot of people in danger by not having a driver's license and being of age to drive. They're not pressing charges against the little girl or nothing. It's just that would happen.
I would have pressed her.
It happened in Ohio, so country roads. People teach their kids to drive on country roads.
It was like regular.
She did real good.
11 miles, this young girl.
Oh, look, back to politics. Let's go.
No.
No. I just want to get y'all opinion on this. This is what Trump said the other day. Now, you know, people they just be saying stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Trump be saying stuff. Trump be saying stuff.
All of them be saying stuff. He said he's going to cut taxes on overtime.
What company is offering overtime right now? Name one.
Oh, I know some guys who be working overtime. I know some guys. They talk about it all the time when they come in the barbershop.
Cut taxes on overtime.
Yeah.
I guess I'm asking from a person in management who has employees who works for corporate America right now.
What type of job you have?
Not a construction company, not anything. I work in corporate America, and I'm just like, how many people are getting OT at the moment?
Yeah, that's why I said. I guess it depends on what type of job you have.
It definitely depends on the type of job.
I also feel like, what are you losing?
Right.
That's only one piece.
Right, because you can work 5 hours of overtime in 1 week, and what?
Yeah,
I feel like even if he gives that, it still doesn't compare to all the things that he says and does, and that he will try to enforce.
You'll have to pay.
I don't think it will balance.
So how you file your taxes at the end of the year, you're going to have to pay it back. You're going to end up owing.
Let me tell you how this man, when he was in office, did sweeping tax reform, and now people are paying for it right now. So you know how there have been huge layoffs in the tech industry. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that he is responsible for it because what he did was he changed the way you can use research and development expenses and the way you could write them off. He changed the way you could do that. And because of the way that it's impacting on tax planning now, he is the reason why there are all these tech layoffs. Mm. So this man doesn't know what he's talking about when he talks about tax reform. He thinks he does. He does not. He needs to get a consultant to talk for him when it comes to those things, because what he actually did that's impacting people now has hurt a lot of companies, and they're having to find loopholes and jump through hoops.
Yeah, he got a team of consultants. The problem is when
he probably don't listen.
Hold on. When he has a whole bunch of people in his ear, the problem is when he tries to spit it back, it's converted out of Trumpism, and so it's completely different. He says the most simplest layman stuff all the time, 100%. And I'm pretty sure everybody's telling him, hey, do this, do that. Trump is a celebrity. He's not a politician, and I think that's what a lot of people forget, because they're like, oh, Trump got this policy. He's going to do that. He's going to do that. No, Trump is an entertainer. He's an entertainer. That's what he's going to do, And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm not saying anything bad about the guy. I could care less, but it is what it is. You got to call a spade a spade. Like he doesn't know what he's talking about. You're exactly right at all.
Tatiana said, I believe the concept he is proposing is converting it into PTO. People don't want PTO, right? If I work overtime, if I'm an hourly employee, right? I don't want PTO. I want the money, right? So if that's what he's saying, or that's what he meant, he needs to say what he means, because OT and in exchange for PTO is two totally different things. Because
I don't think I've seen anything about PTO.
I do it, because I can't at the moment. In my budget, I can't do overtime. So either my employees work a full 40 hours, or if they have to go over, I will allow them to leave early on Friday, or come in late on a Monday, or what.
Comp time.
Yeah.
But PTO doesn't pay the bills.
No.
Well, that doesn't fill the gap of pay inequity. Like if you're working all these hours, no, I don't want time off. I want you to put it in my check.
Right. So what'll happen at the end of the year when
that's actually a safe way. That's actually a safe way to put it on your docket, basically. If you leave the company, convert it.
Not every company does payouts. I work for a company that has wonderful benefits. I've never exhausted my PTO. So I lose it. It's a use it or lose it situation. I've lost PTO.
But that's what saves a lot of companies.
Yes.
You have to use it or lose it. Yeah.
my company gives you it up front. So even though it's accrued based on your years of service, they give it to you up front, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
either at the end of the year, you have, I mean, if you choose to, quit, or, you're terminated or laid off, whichever, you have, I mean, they
You
still
have that
count it.
time. Yeah.
So you have to have the time based on how much you accrued, even though they're giving it to you up front, right? So you can spread your vacation out through the end of the year and say, I want to take off in January. I want to take off, June and July. Or you can say, I want to take the full month of February off. But if you leave in March, you owe us money because you didn't accrue that. Even though we gave it to you up front, you owe us that money. You didn't accrue it.
Is that in the fine writing? Because that's a crazy loophole.
Oh yeah,
right
I mean,
there.
most major companies, most major, I would say
Yeah.
corporate America does it that way.
Yeah,
You still have to put in a lot of time to earn that. Time.
You earn like a day and a half every month or something like that.
I earn less than that because I've been at my company for a long. I mean, it's tricky with me because I also get the freedom of buying an extra week right out of my paycheck, and they just spread the money out through through each paycheck. So by the time at the end of the year, I paid off my week. But I also, depending on the level of management you're at, you accrue a different amount of hours based on tenure too. You know what I mean? So a new person would probably earn an extra 3 hours. Me being, a new person plus in a specific grade, I would earn 5 hours. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, they'll give it to you up front so they don't have to pay it back. So it is one of those, use it, kind of lose it type situation in general. So it won't work. It won't work, but you can give me all your overtime right now. And at the end of the year, you do your taxes and you owe $3,000-$4,000. What you going to do?
Yeah. Then he also said something about making sure people keep their tips too. Like they don't have to. I can't remember how he said it.
No taxes on tips.
No tax on tips. Yeah.
How does that work being a business owner, Daisha? Shout out to a glass above.
Well, I'm not. I'm also not a bookkeeper. I stay in my lane, but
I saw your face.
But what I would here's the thing: it would probably be dependent upon credit card tips because there's no way to determine cash tips anyway. Yeah, so it would definitely be probably based on credit card tips and I mean I don't know. I guess it would have to depend on what the tax professionals say as far as like whether that's an advantage or a disadvantage. But I mean, cash tips are going to be cash tips anyway, so there's really no way to track those.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I don't know that there's enough. I don't know that that's enough of an advantage.
Yeah. Now listen, if he said no taxes on yearly bonuses, I might raise an eyebrow. I might just, dip a toe over there, like, hey now, Mr. Trump.
Girl, cut it out. I'm gonna be in the trees. I just can't see it.
I know I can't, but I'm just saying I might be a little bit more intrigued if he said yearly bonus. You know what I mean? Your yearly bonus won't be taxed because yearly bonuses are taxed at 49.5%. So I'm just saying I would inquire a little bit more.
Of course, his campaign said they don't have no. He didn't provide any details on how that policy will work.
Well, all of these are concepts. Did y'all not hear his?
They're all concepts.
These are all concepts.
Yeah.
These are all concepts. So there is no
concept is a strong word
to fulfill his concepts.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how he fleshes these out, but obviously he doesn't have to flesh them out for his constituents to support him. So
100%. You are 100% right.
I mean,
you are absolutely correct.
Those of us who need the fleshing out are not intrigued, but those who do not are
I mean,
right there at the ballot.
The concept thing just takes me out every time I work on a meeting. I mean, I don't have a plan. I have concepts. I have concepts of a plan.
I am a creative, so I can appreciate concepts, but at the same time, there also has to be some black and white. Everything cannot be. But I do,
but
I
that's
do
also why there's a
frequent
thing
that
called
area.
proof of concept.
Yeah, I do frequent the concept arena.
So with Project 2025, I guess
Here you go.
this will be the biggest election, huh? The most important election, I guess.
That's what they say. Shit, by Trump standards, it might
every
be the last
election is the
election.
most important. Yeah, every election they say is the most important. What would this be the most important?
So not really, because the Heritage Foundation started implementing policies and getting people in place way before it was
yeah.
public knowledge. So all the things that they're talking about, all that stuff has already started. The
Okay.
Heritage Foundation has been putting judges and people in corps and boards, and they started a long time ago. They were ready to play the long game.
Yeah.
And we're just now hearing about it publicly, but they've been doing that.
Remember we talked about that, Leon, when I said, back in the day, it's like, we had, it's Black people slavery, it was KKK, right?
Mm-hmm.
We, when the civil rights passed and we were able to, vote and, be able to utilize some of these places we never were, it was like, and they had to dismantle or rename the KKK. They found a way better to do the same thing, but in a legal capacity. The police force, judges, Congress, all of the things. We weren't forward thinking enough to say, we need to do this too. Like, this is the only way that we can beat them. And so now we're constantly trying to figure it out and be, a step ahead or trying to get them out in some ways, some form. So with Lang talking about the Heritage Program, it's the same thing. They've been doing it for years.
Yeah, they talking about their heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
For years. We just didn't look at it like that. We were looking at it as we're free and now we can commingle or coexist. Really. I mean, not really, but really figuratively.
Oh, yeah.
But
small-minded thinking.
They just, we
playing a short game
there yet. And now it's like we're catching up, right? And they're realizing it, like, oh, they really are smart. They're in their shit.
I don't even think we catching up. We just noticing what's going on.
We're noticing, but we're trying to catch up, right?
We're not catching up to nothing.
I would like to hope
there's no way to catch up in a system that is always consistently.
That wasn't based.
It's never going to be a catch up because
Exactly.
It's so indoctrinated into the grains of the system that there is no way to catch up.
I guess I just have hope, but then I think back of people like Mark Robinson, and it's like we're never going to get there because he could do so much.
But see, that's the thing. He could have done some good stuff if his mind was in the game. But but you look at the stuff he has done so far that has been hurtful for us, for Black people in general.
Right.
Like, and it's just, that's what sets us back, because you could have one guy like Mark Robinson, but on the other side of things, they see one guy like him, and it's like that one guy equals like 100 Black people that supports them, type of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just, it takes so many of us to work together to get an inch ahead. But you have one guy like Mark Robinson come in, and he equals like 100 Black people that supports their side, their thinking, their mode of operations. And it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is because of the disengagement, and like I was talking about, the grassroots efforts of because there are so many people that are apathetic to the entire process. So that amplifies when there's one, then it becomes 100. So it's a lot. And then we also don't know what our agendas are, and we don't hold anybody accountable to those because we all disagree. We're not a monolith, but at the same time, there's no real focus on building on these are our certain core values that we want to accomplish, and we can't agree on those. So then it becomes discord and disarray and no real like focus. And so every little one person definitely is amplified, and it becomes exponential when there's no real plan.
Yeah, agree.
We can't agree.
That's why, that's another reason I believe like Republicans and the GOP are so strong, because they have ironclad loyalty to their party. And it's like that's why they I don't want to say outsmart Democrats, but they're playing chess in a lot of ways because they set up to play the long game. And a lot of
Well, they
Democrats
set up the system. We don't know the system.
true. True. But the thing
It's
is
playing blind. We're playing blind in space.
Larry, are they the only ones that have loyalty to their party?
We
They
have
have
a loyalty to the Democratic Party. The
Democrat-
Democratic Party has not always been loyal to us.
but no, not just that. I'm talking about the party
There you
itself.
go.
The party
Now
itself.
you go ahead.
The party itself, like the Republicans, like they know they each have dirt on each other, whatever they do. But in front of the public, they stand shoulder to shoulder.
do.
Yeah.
It's so weird that, you know, the 200 plus members of the Republican co-op that's, you know, going to vote for Kamala.
Mhm.
Where are they?
Oh,
It was
I
on
didn't even know about that.
paper.
You said it was 200 of them?
Say that again. Who's the what?
The 200 Republican co-op members that are going to vote for Kamala.
Hmm.
Where are they? Outside of being on paper.
Well,
a couple of them
we
spoke
won't
at
know where they
the
are
DNC,
until-
but I don't know. Oh, go ahead, Lane. Sorry.
No, we won't know where they are until the polls, because I saw that press conference where they told people not to vote for Trump. They need to vote for Kamala.
Yeah. But I'm saying, where's the rest of them? Because it's only been like, you know what I mean? John McCain.
Until the actual polling day comes and we see the results.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I need to see action.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Because I feel like there is always conversation, and then when people
the
fill
rug
in
pull.
those bubbles,
That's
it is a
right.
completely different story. And again, it is because they have to deal with their family and friends and all the repercussions of that. So they will tell us what we want to hear, and then they will vote against our interest.
They just scared of my girl Jasmine Crockett. That's all. They don't
Look. So this is why my journey in politics is so all over the place. Because
just pick a side. Just go in there and put your bubble down. This is not. You're not gonna understand it.
No. I'm about to tell you why. Because what you just said a few minutes ago, that we are loyal to Democrats, but they haven't always been loyal to us. And so when I hear stuff like that, I'll be all over.
The Republicans are doing the same thing. If you hear 200, you know what I mean?
I'm not talking about Republicans.
No party is really truly loyal.
Listen, I'm talking about something coming from somebody who votes Democrat. That's what I'm talking about. That's what she said. So when I'm trying to learn all this stuff and listen, I'm like just listening to what people are saying. I'm like,
but that shouldn't matter to you and what aligns with you and your family. Right? How somebody flip-flops shouldn't matter. You decide on how you want to vote and who you want to vote for.
I know that. You ain't got to tell me that. I know that. I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
I'm trying to understand your question. Or was it? What is your thought? I want to hear you out.
You said that we are loyal to the Democratic Party, but they're not always loyal to us. What do you mean by that? Why? So why would you continue to vote for them? Put it that way. That's my question.
Because in our current climate, we are always faced with the lesser of two evils. We've never gotten to a playing field where there's a candidate that we can support based on their strict ideals, values, and things of that nature. And whether that is because of the capitalism, the racism, all the isms that go into it, there is always, I feel personally, I'm always voting for the lesser of the evils. We don't allow, like Lang talked about earlier, we don't allow people to vote based on strictly because of how they feel. This is a party that has used us in some instances. Like, they will roll us out when they're ready, and they will put us up when they're done with us. And we have not found our way out of the hamster wheel yet. So in an effort to not completely drown and not completely be eradicated and not completely to go backwards, we vote in a way that causes a comfort zone for us, but it's not the promised land, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It sounds about the same thing I've been here. You know, we
it's not like I love them. I don't. I wish we had our own party. I wish we could mobilize, but I just talked about the fact that we can't agree on what we want to do. So there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to go into that, and there's no party that represents us. People give us talk game, and when we get in those positions, we don't have enough support to kind of push our own agendas because we don't know what our agenda is. It becomes a rat race. That's just my opinion.
I want to interject. I hate the concept of, we're not unified. We're not unified. I disagree because there's so many cultural and community spaces where we are unified. But when it comes to politics, like we were saying before, the goalpost constantly moves, and we don't have access to the resources that allow us to come together in a very succinct way and accomplish our goals. If you go online right now, there are several organizations that have published a Black agenda. They have it there. And you can go in and you can read. The NAACP has one. I personally, I don't rock that way because I feel like there's still some like indoctrination to white supremacy culture and professionalism and perfectionism. So I don't rock with them. But there's multiple Black agendas that have been published specifically for 2024, that if you go and read them, you can see if that particular organization lines up with your particular values, and you can learn more, and then you can go and support their particular initiative. But when it comes to getting everyone collectively together, no, we're not a monolith, but it is possible, but we don't have the resources to accomplish it because the goalpost is constantly moving. So while I don't want to fearmonger or, help, I don't want you to lose hope because I've been angry for months at a time. I'll just walk around angry for no reason, not no reason, but good reason. And it's because at times I see what's happening and I feel hopeless, but you can't let that consume you, and you have to play the long game like they're doing.
Absolutely.
So you say you walk around angry sometimes. Why is that? Because of what?
Because I be wanting to burn shit. I really do.
And so I asked you that question because I told a couple of people last week. I said my mental can't take a lot of this.
Right.
I'm just ready to exactly. I'm just ready. Just give me my ballot and let me vote and leave me alone.
I don't walk around angry because I protect my peace heavily. But I do agree with Tatiana what she said. Everybody needs to do their due diligence.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
100%. This is not a podcast to persuade anybody a certain way. I think we've all stressed it enough to, definitely vote with what aligns your value. But if you're okay with, the the blatant racism and all those other things, and I don't know, but
yeah, right.
Because if this was a George Bush type Republican, that's different than the hate mongering and all of the undertones that kind
of. You didn't vote for George Bush.
They're not undertones. They're emboldened right
now. They're blatant.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
they're blatant.
But but that was, you can now in retrospect you can appreciate that kind of administration versus what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely.
I wouldn't necessarily say it would have been my first choice, but compared to
lesser of the two evils.
Burn it all down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every year is the lesser of the two evils.
4 years.
It is.
I am sorry that we get the short end of the stick, because in the last election with Biden, they promised the Black vote a lot of things
and
didn't get shit.
Right.
So it
did help them out with the student loans.
It did.
I'm still waiting. So whoever listening,
everybody ain't getting no student loans.
A
lot of people got no student
loans.
They're still working through it.
A lot of people got their student loans forgiven. I wasn't one of those, but I cheer on anybody who did, because I see it.
I would too. I'm happy for those people, and sad that I still got to make some payments before I qualify. But
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
so why didn't everybody get their student loans?
Well,
wiped?
It got blocked.
They got blocked.
Oh, okay.
You got to remember the Supreme Court is
Yeah.
not in our favor, in his favor
The
either.
Supreme
He
Court
tried-
said
I
the
think he
felon
needs to
could
add
run
another person.
and get immunity.
I think he needs to add another person to the Supreme Court, and I think there should be a what do we call it? A term, a certain term. I don't think it should.
Yeah,
be
they do need a term.
Yeah.
Yep.
It needs to be a term. We're tired of looking at the people that are there, except for Katanji. But the other,
But that's another aspect of hoarding power.
yeah,
Exactly. And things that have to change.
Tolerating.
The only way to get
It's
that
strategic.
change is
Yes.
we have to start advocating on lower levels for those things to go
Exactly.
up and change.
that's why I think it's very important for the state level for us to really be understand these candidates that are running. And for me, like I said, I didn't know about Mark Robinson until he started popping up. I'm like, man, who is this man? And some other people around here, but we move.
Right. We not mentioning
Well,
them. Mm.
that'll wrap it up for the night, y'all.
I know you got
I love to
to
have y'all. Look, no, that's it. I love to have y'all back when me and Rene don't have a guest. Chop it up some more.
Yeah.
I
Any
always
last
have
words,
to-
anybody?
Hit me up anytime. I just
Last
want everybody to have a
words
good
is,
time out there. Be safe out there and whatever you do.
So I guess the last word is go vote.
Ah.
Yes.
do your research, do your
Yeah.
due diligence, and then vote for what aligns with
Man,
you
people
and your
keep saying do
beliefs.
your research.
Yes,
I hear you. I hear you. People say do your research, but less of two evils. Not really there. Yeah. So I hear you. Well, there you have it for another episode of the Impel Forward podcast. And remember, seize the opportunity to grasp your dreams.
dreams.
Peace.
Sure.